Finally, we start. Oh shit!
And the
What?
socialist.
Well, no, hang on. This guy's probably like the consistent Marxist in the panel, right? Because he's like, well, capitalism is a stage of history, and by progressing to the stage of history, you will increase the productivity. But then we must progress to the next stage of history, socialism. That's what he's gonna say. That's probably what he's gonna say.
Well, actually, Chronic, this is why you should have come in here earlier. You shouldn't have come in here at all, honestly. You're not going to watch the whole stream. Because this guy who also agreed with the billionaires, the capitalist and the billionaire question. So, I mean, Chronic, why did you even come in here? I don't understand.
I don't know, it's just, I thought it'd be funny.
Yeah, no other system has ever lifted anybody out of poverty. That's
true.
That's the
it allows people to lift themselves out of poverty more than any other system. It's more accurate, I'd say.
Well, like,
it's more so that it's the only one who can do it, because every other system is a parasitic system that requires capitalism to generate value. Without capitalism, you don't have generational value, so you cannot get out of poverty. You cannot go away from nature without it.
yeah, because like capitalism, properly understood, right? Capitalism is not like the specific system of economic private property that existed after the year 1700. No, capitalism is the use of private property and exchange, right, in society, right, and the development of capital structure. That's what it is. And like I think Zulu really says it very well, where the capital structure really is how you can tell how advanced a civilization is. The more developed the capital structure is, the more advanced the civilization is. And obviously, right, like you need capitalism to develop a strong capital structure, right? And it's to the extent that you don't have private property and exchange, you don't get an advanced capital.
Yeah, it just goes right back to the old point. How do you get wealth in the first place? You need to produce. How do you produce? People need to have property. If you don't have property, then you can't produce. It's really as simple as that. There is no such thing as wealth without capitalism. Poverty is the natural state. I'll bring out the Pierre Bieland book again, which I know Chronic has read. I haven't read it yet.
That's my favorite.
How to Think About the Economy, a primer. Poverty is the natural state of mankind, given scarcity. Okay? You only get out of poverty if you have production. That is the only way. The only way that can happen. And the only way you can have production is if people are free to think, free to produce. Right? If they aren't free to think, you can't have other people thinking for you. You can't have other people digesting food for you. Right? You've got to think for yourself. If you aren't free to choose, then you cannot produce. It's not possible. Oops.
I'm going to be honest, I think it's pretty clear capitalism is the best system we've ever seen. I think even today, if you're poor...
We won.
Or no. I think it's the best system we've seen so far. And if you look today, I mean, you're better off being poor today than even the...
He's almost like an honest socialist, where he's like, it's produced all this wealth, I'm assuming. This is where it's going to go into. And now we're going to predatorize on it. You know, we're gonna just reap all those benefits now, without any sort of concern for the future.
I want to identify a specific like trick or like a specific, I don't know, like intellectual fallacy I see commonly in like the history profession, like history academia, is to identify like capitalism as like a system, right? There's like this idea that capitalism is a system. It comes after a feudalistic system. Like it's part of the Marxist like dialectic theory of history, but it's kind of been like taken out of that context and into the idea that like, well, we had like monarchical systems and we had the Chinese like, medieval system. Like these are all like concrete particular systems that have existed at a time, right? And now we live in modern capitalism. That's a system, right? It's detaching the actual like idea, the actual ethical, like abstract philosophical element of capitalism, the idea of private property, free exchange, money, like, private ownership in the means of production, right? Use of that to develop a capital structure. It's divorcing that from its like abstract element and like tying it down to some specific concrete instantiation that's happened, after the year 17 something. Like I've seen this stupid YouTube video which is like, when was capitalism invented? And it was like, capitalism, it starts with the East India Company. Like, I'm like, no, it doesn't. Capitalism starts when Robinson Crusoe on the island, it first takes a stick out of nature, okay? Robinson Crusoe, like
trade.
Capitalism precedes the written word.
Yeah, whenever someone trades, mutually benefits from a trade,
I did call this.
Trade, yeah.
Yeah, I did call this out in the start of the debate here, well, the start of the video, that because early on they were pulling off this strategy of basically a pointer error. Essentially, it's a glorified pointer error to try to manipulate what concept they're actually trying to talk about. It's modern Bailey as well. They're basically trying to talk about one thing, right? But then they switch out the meaning mid-sentence. Like, it's the same thing that Haas and other communists and other just general dishonest actors have been trying to pull off every single time you get them to press on things. In this case, it's even worse because, as you said, this is just a dialectical materialist bullshit inserted in here to try to replace the pointer that capitalism, the concept of capitalism points to.
Queen of England was 150 years ago. But I think the problem with capitalism is that it takes a lot. Capitalism and financialization come at the same time. And so with financialization, you turn everything into an asset. Things like housing go from being a social right to an asset. And so
excuse me. Hold on.
Where was that ever?
So hold on. So housing at some point, presumably, was not an asset. When was that point? At some point it was a social right. No, it wasn't. And it takes it from being a social right into an asset that you... So there was some point in history where there was no scarcity in housing. Well, yeah, let's return back there. That's the answer to my... That's the answer to my...
If there's a right. If it's a right.
Yeah, that's the answer to my question of how far back in history would you go if you were the richest person ever in that point in history? You go back to the point where housing was infinitely abundant. Right? You go back to that point.
But then why would it be a right? If it's infinitely abundant, why would it be a right?
Well, I mean, you just don't get it, because if you had proletarian logic, then you would get it.
But what happened to the infinite abundance over time? What happened? How did he go from something infinite to something finite?
Yeah, it's confusing. Maybe the professor here can explain further. I don't know why.
You reach a certain point. I mean, theoretically, if we believe in infinite economic growth, we're going to eventually get to a point where everybody has as much money as they need for everything and everybody can enjoy the luxuries.
Nobody said that.
You stagnate at some point.
So I want to be clear here. If you compared any of our lives, if you took like a picture of that, some sort of picture of our lives, and showed it to anybody in the Middle Ages, they would say, yeah, resources are infinitely abundant.
You can go back to like my great grandparents, and they'd be like, "What? This is fucking magical."
Yeah, it is the idea that I am wealthier than every single medieval king put together. I'm wealthier than all of them put together. I'm not particularly wealthy, but I'm wealthier than all of them put together. I'm wealthier than every single person in the year 1900 put together. I'm wealthier than them all. How am I wealthier than them all? It's as we're saying. It's because I have greater access to capital. I have access to this massive system, which has built up all this crazy technology. I can be homeless in the year fucking 3 trillion, and I will be fantastically wealthier. Unbelievably wealthier.
In the year 2026 and be wealthier than the king in the year 900.
Yeah. I'm saying if we project out like 100 years from now, and I'm homeless in that 100 years from now, I will still be wealthier than I am right now. Assuming there isn't like some socialist revolution. Assuming the socialists don't win.
Assuming the socialists don't win. The socialist victory is what's going to make you homeless. That's the problem.
Yeah.
They're going to implement rent control in Scotland. Global rent control, right? All the rents have to go to zero.
Yeah.
Then all the buildings collapse.
Like, I want to give one concrete example of this. If I go into any establishment, any like bar, restaurant, whatever, and I say, hey, can I get a glass of tap water? I can get water for free. I don't have to pay a fucking penny for that. Water, for most of human history, was a very valuable resource. Very much something that you had to...
Clean water. Drinking water.
Clean drinking water, yes, exactly. Imagine if housing was the same, where it's too cheap to meter, as they say for electricity. Too cheap to meter. That is, they'll just give it to you. It's like, yeah, you want a fucking place?
Open up a tap and houses fly out.
Yeah. the equivalent of that. Like, yeah, you want that? Oh, yeah, sure. Go ahead. Like,
Well, imagine think about like you basically have like an army of like little like robots, right? And you just tell them build a house here, and like in like 12 hours, there's just like 17 houses.
Mhm.
You know, that's
The
not actually that
Minecraft.
far from a reality. I mean, we have 3D
I
printed
know, I
houses
mean,
nowadays. It's
we have
pretty
3D
fucking
printed
cool.
houses. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think socialists underestimate just how easily things can become abundant. Like how
If you
we don't even
steal it.
understand. It's not possible for us to understand the things that socialists 500 years from now will be complaining about if the current trends continue. Like, we can't understand. They'll be saying, well, you're not making a living wage because you don't have your own planet to control. You aren't able to control your own planet. You don't have your own
Look,
Dyson
look.
sphere. Like, what?
Everyone needs
Yeah.
a minimum wage of three solar systems per hour. Okay.
It's
The thing that is important is that if you know we don't even need to think about the future and like try to see how unimaginable it is, right? We can just look in the past. I mean, in the times of Marx and even others, right? During the time, if you had told them that in the future there's going to be this little device that you can hold on your hand and you can access the global information network as a homeless person, it will cost less than rent. And you could own it for over 10 years, right? Mark, I don't think anyone will believe you. It's unimaginable just how powerful, how wealthy we are. Just this simple thing, this phone that I'm holding right now, and the fact that it connect to the internet and do all these magic things, essentially, right?
Pirate any movie from any from their time, and oh no, wait, no, not for their time. They didn't have movies.
Like,
You can have movies.
Yeah.
Like they can have anything they wanted. Essentially, the phone like this
All
would
the
enable
books.
you to specialize in anything you want because the information is out there, right? Like this ability, this thing that costs so little, right? They could not imagine such a thing. We don't
Yeah,
even have
imagine
to-
all those physical books, and they can just access them digitally from their phone. like,
Exactly. And
just
not even
that.
that, just
I want to point out like the example of today, right? Like the paradigm example of today where AI, right? We have the development of large language models and machine learning technology and the capacity for that to improve people's lives. Like I read this article recently, I think I shared it with Liquid Zulu, where it's this father and he has a son who has like a communication difficulty or like a disorder. Like he's a learning disability. And he used AI to develop an application so that his son could communicate with him. And his son actually started being able to communicate, actually started being able to learn words in a way that like no existing technology was able to help him do that, right? And like I always hear the leftists or like the anti-AI people who are like AI is going to take away our ability to learn, AI is going to make us stupid, AI is going to melt our brains, AI is going to oppress the working class forever. And then I read this article about this father who helps his son overcome his learning disability and actually become a communicating like a fully fledged human being. And I just want to convert them all into oil. I want to convert all the anti-AI people. I want to press their bones into oil and use it to grease the gears of history. Like I just want them. I can't take like the amount of wealth that is waiting behind this barrier of these socialists like blocking us. Like no, you can't be wealthy. You can't be wealthy. It's gonna destroy civilization. Like no, we're gonna destroy you and build civilization.
I want to add something there because it's so important that you brought this up. Like we live in the age of information, and this is not like a buzzword I'm using. When I say age of information, I mean you can have any information you want that would enable you to specialize into whatever you want at your fingertips. Internet subscription is cheap as fuck. A phone is cheap as fuck. Like that's the portal for you to access these things, right? You can acquire them in less than legal ways, but it's essentially free. But the thing is, we live in the age of the autodidact, where you don't need to depend on the state and all of that. There's there's this chatter that got banned who was talking about how we need this Prussian system of education. My friend, I have this phone in my hand where I can access every single thing that all of these universities are teaching. I can learn it myself faster without a professor castrating me for not sucking his dick enough, right? You have all these things at the palm of your hand. We don't need to be stuck in the past.
Yo, Casimir. Hello.
I'll Casimir.
Hey, what's up?
Hello.
What's up?
Now we have old Casimir and young Casimir in the same voice chat.
there you go.
That is true.
Right, do you need an invite, Casimir?
Oh yeah. Oh, so yeah, Casimir, you'll be guest 3.
Excellent.
That'll be your username.
Walk Lubit.
That's
What is
actually my last guest account. I didn't think we'd have more
Oh my
guests.
God.
Actually, no.
Okay,
Does
that's
Casimir
crazy.
have a fucking didn't make an account for Casimir. No, fuck.
That's gonna take a long time to rebuild.
Yeah, no.
Wait,
So
so is that the
Casimir,
link,
you're gonna
right?
be, you're
Right,
gonna
right.
be. Yeah. The Ngrok link, the one just above when you joined.
Just go in there and then type guest3 in the username, and then you should be able to.
Yeah.
Yes.
No password. I'll also make more user accounts. I'll make like fucking 50 guest accounts. We'll never run out.
5,000 guest. Infinity Somalians.
If we had a living guest account amount, then we would be fine. and then when you join that, join admin's group in the sync play.
Yeah, it'll be at the top right. There's like a little icon of people.
Yeah, otherwise, it's not gonna. You're not gonna be synced to us. A little bit of technical issues until we
There,
sort them out.
there we go.
I know how to click buttons. Not a boomer.
That's all it takes.
All it takes.
Shall we all